Hey guys, it's Penguin here and welcome back to another gold making video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about how you can start prepping for patch 10.1 to make sure you make as much gold at the start as possible. We're going to be talking about some level requirements, some profession changes, and also some investments you can do right now to hopefully flip into a ton of gold. And without further ado, we're going to get right into it. As always, if you appreciate the content, leaving a like or even subscribing would be amazing, but here we go. And to get started, we first need to cover some general basics. And the first thing you need to do, if you haven't done it already, is get all of your alts that you want to play in patch 10.1 to level 70. Now, if you guys saw my patch 10.0.7 video, I said the same thing, but it matters even more now if you haven't gotten around to it. Unlike 10.7, this is a full-on, 0.1 patch, and there is so many more things coming to this patch that definitely need to take advantage of. We have brand new resources that can only be gathered inside the new zone, we have a large list of new recipes, etc. And the only way you can actually start selling these items is to start doing this new content. Now, thankfully, if you are somebody who has multiple characters that need to level up, this will not be as bad as you think. Remember, right now, the whole time walking event is going on, and we basically have time walking all the way up until patch. So this is a perfect time to level, get that rested XP, get that, extra XP from time walking, and you'll hit level 70 in no time. Secondly, still under this basics category, if you haven't already, you need to make sure you complete the campaign in the current patch for 10.0.7. Now this campaign is only one chapter long, so it's super easy to complete, but it is actually a prerequisite, it's actually a requirement for 10.1. Many of you have probably already completed this, and that is perfect, but if anybody has taken a break recently, just getting back into the game, you definitely have to finish those quests. Now, just remember, for all of those alts that you plan on bringing into the new zone into 10.1, you also need to complete the campaign, but if you've done it once before, you can skip it. The first skip is at the first quest you pick up, and the second one is at the town inside of the Forbidden Reach, so you can skip this if you've already done it before, but going into 10.1, you need to have this either skipped or completed. And alright, getting all of that basic stuff out of the way, we can actually talk about professions, which is what I know a lot of people want to hear. And I just have a few talking points that I want to cover. Firstly, just kind of getting the obvious things out of the way, if you haven't already, I highly recommend trying to get at least one of every profession. One of the major keys to gold making is diversity, and the easiest way to diversify your stock is to just have all of the professions. Even if you produce one item from each profession, that is a handful of new items that you can add to your arsenal. Also, with that, there are no new specialization trees coming into the patch, which is great. However, if you guys are a little bit behind or you just haven't hit the milestones you want, make sure you are still collecting your weekly knowledge points. Even if you have no idea what you want to use them for, start collecting them, and by the time you figure that out, you'll be thankful that you did. But going into actually 10.1 stuff, there's two different professions I want to highlight. Firstly, for all of the beginners, this will be good news, and this is Enchanting. The reason why Enchanting is so significant is that in patch 10.1, they are going to be making the new Season 2 infusions. For those who are familiar with the current crafting system, as you guys know, somebody will come and craft a piece of crafted gear, and if they want to upgrade it to the highest item level, they either use a primal infusion or the better version, which is the concentrated primal infusion. Currently, those infusions are just made by the player. It's just a simple right click in their inventory with the BOP items, and they're good to go. They just have to get it implemented into their crafted item. However, in patch 10.1, the new infusions, which are called Enchanted Crest, actually have to be crafted by an enchanter. So that means that every single person who wants the best item level of crafted gear, or even just a decent item level of crafted gear, has to go order from an enchanter first. Now, the reason why this is so great for beginners is that this is a great gold making opportunity. Just like Unstable Elementium in 10.0.7, this is a BOP item that will be required to be ordered through the work order system, and it has no quality, meaning that you can be a bare bones enchanter and still produce the same product as a maxed out one. So this means there is a gold making opportunity for every single enchanter, no matter when you start. Now, for those who really want to min-max profit as much as possible, you can spec into resourcefulness, meaning every time you craft an item, you might proc some extra materials, and you actually get to keep those as a crafter. So that's not necessary, it won't affect the buyer's product in any way, it's just an extra way to make some gold. Now, in terms of prepping, really the only thing you have to do is get yourself an enchanter and make sure that enchanter is level 70. The way to get these recipes are from treasures and rares inside of the new zone, so you just need to take your level 70 enchanter, go around, collect treasures, kill rares, and hopefully it drops for you. So far, the drop rate has not been terrible on PTR. Of course, it's still just PTR, but I think a lot of people will be able to get this item pretty easily. Moving on away from enchanting, we have alchemy. Now this one is a lot more up in the air, and I'm going to try to explain that in the best way possible, so do this at your own risk, but I just want to throw the idea out there. One of the brand new reagents coming in patch 10.1 is a brand new gem called Dracothist. The reason why this reagent is so important is because it's actually used in those recipes for the crest that we just talked about, and it's used in a variety of other new items. So basically anybody crafting new items in this patch will need Dracothist. Now originally this was actually a BOP gem, but it has just become BOE, meaning that it is sellable on the auction house, but the weird thing is that so far the primary source of this item is a transmute by Alchemist. Technically there are two ways to get this item that we know of. The first one is the transmute. However, there's also this item called Dracothist shards that you can combine a handful of them and get yourself a full gem. The issue is that we don't know how to get these shards. The shards themselves are currently BOP, but we just really don't know about that system. However, this means that if the transmute is the main way to get it, this is a lot of gold opportunity. Transmutes, first of all, are limited by 1 per day per alchemist, meaning if you are somebody with an alt army of alchemists, this becomes very powerful. The way you get this recipe is through the new bartering system, which I have just uploaded a video on. I'll have that in the description, but this recipe itself is also a little bit expensive. This item now requires 300 glow spores to craft, and also 50 silken gem dust, which we'll go back to in just a second. But if you are somebody with an alt army, this is definitely something to take advantage of. Now, of course, this means that your alts have to be level 70. You also have to get them in the zone and get this recipe, but this could be a great gold making opportunity. And alright, this is Future Penguin pausing the video for just 1 second because I want to announce a giveaway. You guys have always been supportive, and I know a lot of people are coming back for 10.1, so I want to give away some game time. There will be 2 winners, one from each region, one NA and one EU, and each of them will win 2 months of game time. All you have to do is please make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and then leave a comment down below with your region and what you're excited for about the upcoming patch. Feel free to be as creative as you want, and I'll be pulling the winner on the 23rd of April. So you have about a little bit over a week to get your submissions in. But everybody, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the video. And alright, the final segment of this video is about investments, and you will see that a lot of this corresponds to what we just talked about. In the first market I want to bring your attention to is enchanting mats. Now, before I say anything else, I just want to put a disclaimer out there. You know, you should invest at your own risk. You should never invest more than you are okay with losing. For example, don't put all of your money into one item, and if you plan on investing 500k, you should be okay with losing all of that gold if something goes bad. So be a smart investor, look into this yourself, but here are my suggestions. And going back to that first one is enchanting materials. We just talked about the new enchanted crest, and every single one of them requires some bit of enchanted mats, and honestly a good amount of them as well. One of the biggest ones, the most expensive one, are the crystals, and that is something that really can't be majorly produced. Shards and chromatic dust can be produced through the disenchant shuffle, where resonant crystals were really at the mercy of just people disenchanting epic gear that they find as they play the game. So with the heavy demand on these crests, and also just people needing enchants in the new patch anyways, because people will be upgrading their gear, this is a great opportunity to invest. Over the past few weeks, we've already seen prices go up, but if you have some gold laying around, I definitely would recommend. If you are somebody who doesn't have a lot of change in your pocket, you can go a little bit more safer route and purchase items to disenchant shuffle. You know, right now, disenchant shuffling is profitable, and if the prices of these items go up, that just means you'll get even more profit. So if you're scared about buying the shards or the crystals or the dust yourself, buy cloth and buy thread that you can eventually disenchant to make some good profit. The second thing I want to bring your attention to is gem dust, and quickly I have a chart showing on screen that I want to show you. First of all, this is a website called Oribos Exchange. I highly recommend it to anybody, but right now we're looking at the US for gem dust. If we scroll all the way at the bottom, this is the history of gem dust, and you can see that it went crazy during 10.0.7. Right here, you know, for the longest time, gem dust was almost worthless, and then all of a sudden, 10.0.7 came out, and there was a huge skyrocket, and it's slowly been slowing down and going down ever since. Now, the reason for this huge spike was because of gem dust demand. The unstable elementium, which was a brand new item, required 25 gem dust, and so because that was a huge demanded item, the price skyrocketed. And if we go back to that alchemy gem and that transmute, yet again, that is another huge demand of gem dust. So this could be another opportunity for gem dust to bounce back. Now, of course, gem dust is already more expensive than it was, prior to the first thing. It was going for 1 gold in the past, now it's going for 15, but even if it rebounds back up to like 30 or 35, wherever that peak was, this could still be a great investment. Of course, if you want to play it safe, you can invest into ore, you can invest into gems that you can do something with besides just gem dust if you're worried about it not working out, but this is another market to keep your eye on. Then the last category is a little bit more vague, but it's really just any sort of consumable. Any sort of major patch that brings a new raid, a new season, etc., there is always people coming back to the game and people becoming a lot more active. So the demand for potions, demand for enchants, demand for food, consumables, all of that will go up drastically. And the fact that there are not many replacements, for example, we're not really getting any replacements for enchants, we're not getting any feast replacements, we're really not even getting potion replacements, this could be a good place to start making those items and save them for launch. You can either invest in the current items, or what I would recommend is probably investing into the raw materials. For example, if you think that a potion is going to do super well, instead of just buying that potion and hoping for a resale, you can buy the herbs to make that potion. That means that if the potion flops, the potion doesn't do very good, you still have raw herbs, which you can either just resell if they go up in value, or you can turn them into something else that is profitable. Same thing goes for food. If you don't want to buy the feast themselves, you can buy the meat that's required to make the feast, etc. Then lastly, to end this video, I have one more investment. And if you are from the future, if you are watching this 2 to 3 weeks later, you can kind of ignore this. This will not help you at all. But if you're somebody watching it a few days after, this is for you. Currently, at the time of recording and uploading this video, Noble Garden, which is the Easter event, is going on now. The reason why Goldmakers should care about the Easter event is because of this mount. This is called the Swift Spring Strider, and it's only farmable during this event, which started the week this video is uploaded, and it ends on Monday. The reason why I want to bring it up is that you should purchase these now to sell them for later. Currently, I have the mount pulled up for Area 52, which is like the largest populated realm on the US, and as you can see right now, they are down to 25 gold, while the median is 90. For the past few days, you can see that people have been trying to sell them for 90, 80, 120, etc. And ever since the event has started, they have drastically crashed, and the quantity of them has gone up a ton. And so this is the perfect time to buy. Right here, this is the region historical data for all US realms, and as you can see in the past year or so, this is not a full year, it only goes back to September, but the price has constantly risen and the total quantity has gone down. Back in September, there was about 500 total mounts for an average of like 60k, and if we go here to March, the average was 100k, and there was only half of them left at about 250. But fast forward to today, you guys can see, if we zoom in right here, the amount has skyrocketed. We're already at 1,200, and the average price has gone down to 35 gold, and it will continue to go down until the event is over. So if you guys have some extra gold, of course, this is a long-term play, but you should go and buy these mounts. Every single year, I buy all of the cheap ones for like 30k or less, and on my server, I can resell them by next event and make a ton of gold. I am on a medium pop server, but I have no issue selling these back for like 75,000+ gold. If you guys are curious, Area 52 is definitely on the cheaper end currently of all US regions, but if you're down here on Accord or Silver Moon, you can pick some up for even as cheap as 5k, which is a criminal steal. So if you guys haven't already, look into this item, but I will quit talking for now, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. I really do appreciate you guys watching this video. Hopefully it is useful. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. And as always, everybody, have a good day.